Hey, do you like true crime? Me too. And I know what you're thinking. There's so many true crime pods out there, you've already heard all the stories. Well, what if I were to tell you you're wrong? I'm Leroy Luna, the host of Excuse Me, That's Illegal, the podcast that takes a hardcore look at softcore crime. I've got a back catalog of hundreds of bizarre and hilarious stories just waiting to be heard by you. So come join me. Excuse Me, That's Illegal is available anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, with new episodes dropping on the 10th, 20th, and 30th every month, baby!
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, this is Lee. I'm here to intro this week of our summer hiatus, spotlighting some cool podcasts we think you should know about. This week we have a new podcast that debuted this year. It's called Chopstick Lesbians, where Cam and Clarice are your guides digging into all things Asian and gay. And in this episode, they're diving into one of our absolute faves. It's the classic Saving Face. You'll get to hear all of their thoughts about how they related to the movie, the importance of queer Asian representation on our screens, the pressures of family, coming out stories, so much more. And we hope you enjoy listening.
Welcome to Chopstick Lesbians, where we munch on all things Asian and gay. Hello, hello.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back to
Chopstick Lesbians.
I wonder if we're like piercing anyone's ears when we do this.
You want to do that? But yeah, welcome to our episode number...
This is Quattro?
Four. Yeah, fourth episode.
My name is Cam and I go by she, her pronouns.
And I'm Clarice and I also use she, her pronouns.
And today... I'm just so hangry, Clarice. We're actually, normally I think we eat at the end. Have we been eating at the end?
I think
in the past episodes?
Or like in the middle.
Okay. Well, today we're eating at the beginning because I'm getting hangry. And today, Clarice, you have bestowed us with something very delicious looking. This is a Filipino traditional dish called...
Tortang talong.
Ooh,
Tortang
talong. I love that. Tortang talong. Oh man, that's a tongue twister.
It's like in English, it's basically eggplant omelette.
Okay, so there's
eggplant is talong.
No tortoise or anything in this, right?
No.
No tortoise is harmed.
No.
Tortang talong.
Yeah, and I'm so excited. It's the first time I cook it. So we'll see how it tastes.
Okay.
And we're also serving it with a condiment that is very unique to the Philippines, which is called banana ketchup.
Okay, I've heard of banana ketchup, but I've never tried it. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Tell me about the history of the banana ketchup.
I know. It's so interesting. Like, we love this education thing. I also just learned it because of this. But apparently this banana ketchup was invented by this lady, Maria Orosa. And she's a food scientist. And she sought to reduce Philippines' dependence on imported food. So pioneering new ways to use local products. And she was also a war hero. So
we love a female war hero.
Yes. I'll just describe it. It's definitely brighter red in color than like your typical tomato ketchup, as you can see. It's more intense.
Yeah, it is.
And you
spicy.
Expect it to be a bit like, on like the spice side, but also like slightly sweet, tangy.
What do you eat it with?
We eat it with every fried food, like literally. So like, tortang talong, we kind of like dip it on this banana ketchup, hot dogs, Spam, all the fried food that you dip in ketchup, we usually use it. But also, you know how like Filipino spaghetti is a bit sweeter?
Yes.
This is actually what we use.
Oh,
and like some spaghetti, like we'll use banana ketchup.
So is there banana in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what
and-
gives it the sweetness. Okay.
using this.
Can
So
I?
try to taste
I'm
it?
gonna try it
first.
right now. Whoa!
Did you
Whoa! Whoa! It is sweet.
It's sweet,
There is a hint of tomato in there
right?
initially, and then it just Oh my god, I cannot describe it. What is that flavor? It feels quite familiar. I'm gonna try it with a
Tortang
tortang.
Yes. Try it.
All right. So tell me how you made the tortang.
Yeah, it's so easy to make, and that's why it's very popular. Actually, in 2022, the World Food Atlas, which is like they rank like dishes around the world, this is ranked like the best egg dish in 2022. Okay, go make your reaction.
It is so effing good. I love it.
Egging good?
It is so egging good. There's eggplant and egg. Oopsies. A little accident here. I will eat it. Okay, I recommend you guys
Try it.
make it. It's so simple.
So simple.
We'll post a recipe.
Oh yeah, we'll share the recipe, but like essentially you just need like 4 or 5 ingredients. The key here is like gas grilling or broiling the eggplant because it gives it that smoky
I taste it.
flavor before you cook it with all the other ingredients. So there's it makes a difference. And you can make it like the vegetarian version, which is what we're having now, but you can also make it with some minced meat.
Thank you, Clarice, for sharing. Yummy. You've gotten me into like all kinds of Filipino dishes I've never tried before. So
I love that.
appreciate it. What do we have today?
It's gonna be so exciting. We're actually gonna dissect this queer Asian film that is
Hold on a second.
ooh
Are you telling me there's an Asian American film that's queer? Who knew?
surprisingly, who knew?
Wow.
You're the one who
gem.
got me into it. When did you know that about this film?
I think I heard about it when I was like in my it was released in 2004.
Okay, yeah.
So I was very much in the closet then. I was in my very nascent closet age. And so like when I found it, I was watching it on like YouTube again with like that tiny little screen in the corner of my computer. 10 years later, I watched it again on the like, big screen on TV, full volume, clearly out
Yes.
and proud.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so rare to find Asian American queer films. And I feel like this is like 2004. So we really pushed the frontiers of queer Asian film. Thanks to Alice Wu, who wrote and directed it. She also wrote and directed half of it, which also features an Asian American lesbian.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, I found out when she was about to produce it, the studio was actually encouraging Alice to cast Reese Witherspoon
What?
and Scarlett Johansson to bring more attention to the film, but that essentially erases the entire
The Asian culture dynamic
yeah,
that
which
makes
is the
film-
entire film.
Yeah, it makes it richer and more complicated.
Yeah. Luckily, Alice Wu resisted that, and while it didn't really like do super well in like the box office, I mean, this film is a staple.
Yeah.
It comes up in festivals again and again because of how like resonant it is with our community. Who does it star? Do you know? Michelle Krusik. She plays Will, and Lin Chen, who plays Vivian. Shall I read the synopsis?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can.
So Will, Michelle Krusik, is a lesbian, but she does not dare tell her widowed mother, Hui Lan, played by Joan Chen, or her very traditional grandparents. She's shocked, however, to find out she's not the only one in her family with romantic secrets when she learns that her 48-year-old mother is pregnant. Unwilling to reveal who the father is, Hui Lan is kicked out of her parents' home and she moves in with her daughter, Will, which then puts a strain on Will's budding relationship with openly gay Vivian, played by Lin Chen. I want to know, what did you think of this film?
I think the fact that it come out on 2004, I think it's very bold to make that, and like it really pushed like the representation of queer Asian women. Another big thing is I love how it feels so close to real life. I don't feel like any part of the film was like pushed to make it entertaining. Throughout the story, it's like there's bits and pieces that you and I can relate to. And just like the complexity of being queer, I think it gives respect to how it feels to be like, growing up in a traditional Asian household.
Yeah, I think it was very accurate in its
Very-
representation. Like, namely, the pressures
Mm-hmm.
that not only the pressures that Will felt as the daughter, but also, interestingly, the mother.
Yeah.
The pressures that she felt from her father and being like pregnant at such an age. Anyways, we'll get into that. Why don't we do like a walkthrough?
Let's do a walkthrough.
Okay, so at the beginning of the movie, we start with Planet China. What is Planet China?
It's like a place where the Chinese community in New York gather together for a dance, like to dance and socialize.
Yeah. Have you ever been part of any of those?
No. Have you?
No, I haven't. And I think if my parents were to push me into something like that, I just got more trauma. So that's where we meet Will first at this community dance hall, Planet China. And her mom has set her up to meet this like financial meathead, Raymond. Of course, she goes there wearing the gayest outfit ever.
Usually they're just wearing shirt and like
She was
pants or
wearing a
something.
button-down collared shirt.
Right?
So gay. Man, if I was there, I could pick her out, no problem. Watch episode 3 or listen to episode 3 for gaydar tips. And then, so it's clear here she's out to her friends her age, and then she comes across Vivian. This is the first time they meet
Yeah.
as like older adults. We find out later they actually knew each other as kids.
Yeah.
Man, those longing looks.
It's like, the tension, the intensity of
The head over the shoulder. But come on, be serious. Like, in reality, do people do that?
I'm not sure. Do people do that? I'm gonna be so shy.
These
to
longing
look at
looks? I'm like,
someone.
geez, do I have something on my face? Like, why are you
Right?
looking at me?
It was cute. There's like also like that's like a mini smile of like like the flirty, tiny bit subtle smile.
That's coming from Vivian.
From Vivian.
We later find out she's a huge flirt.
Yes, and like very bold. Like,
She's so bold. I love it.
love it.
And then we move on. We find out Will is a doctor. Duh.
Yeah, of course. Like
I mean, that's the only profession we have.
I mean, doctor, lawyer, engineer.
And if she's not an accountant, then
Oh, no, yeah, or accountant. So yeah, she's a doctor.
So they're at the hospital and they have this whole vending machine courtship, right? Vivian goes and she says something very flirty. She's like, she's helping Will decide what to get from the vending machine. And then she's like, sometimes your body just knows what she really wants. And then she walks out. I'm like,
like what?
sometimes your body knows what you want.
Yeah.
And then she gives that eye. Oh my
And
God.
then walk away. That's
I
it.
don't know how her pants didn't drop. Just there. Work setting, be professional.
That's true.
And then Will goes home and she finds her mother sitting outside with all her bags, like she's ready to move in. So this is her mom is played by Joan Chen. Okay, like we were watching this together, Clarice and I think we later found out I might have a crush on her mom.
Actually,
I don't have
like, what's
mommy
your
issues.
type? Who's your type? Will or Vivian?
I'm
You're
like-
the mom.
Yo, man, like, okay, Joan Chen, she's got beauty and grace you cannot
Yes,
deny.
yeah.
I just find it so hilarious how, like, the director and the whoever does, like, the clothing, they try to make Joan Chen look homely and like disheveled.
But
And
no.
it just doesn't look, she
Yeah,
does
I
not
know.
look
She
disheveled.
looks so pretty.
It's like a
and hot.
beauty queen wearing an apron. Like, what is she doing? Anyways, yeah, Jane Chen.
Right, so
She's in like a lot of really famous Asian films like Last
Ooh.
Caution, Last Emperor. Anyways, like we find out she's pregnant.
Like the mom at 48 years old.
Yeah. In my opinion, the mom's storyline in some ways almost overshadows Will and Vivian's love story.
I think
I find it more intriguing.
Yeah, no, I think for me it's like a parallel.
Okay.
And like later on, like we'll talk more about how it's connected in terms of the themes. But I like that it's actually, it's like a queer Asian film, but like it's not just about, like the trials and like the struggle of being queer and Asian. It's like the storyline of the mom gives it another thing to navigate, but at the end they tie it really nicely.
So then the next scene, they're at the grandpa's house, and we find the mom actually being almost like she plays like the child character because she's getting kicked out by grandpa for being pregnant and for essentially dishonoring the family. That was like a really interesting scene because I felt like it was like mom was being both, she's both constrained by like these traditional values, but at the same time she's also enforcing them on Will.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's that irony. Some of the things that like the grandpa said definitely resonated with me.
Like what?
Namely that quote. He was like, when I think of all we've sacrificed in the old country to give you kids a better life. Oh my God, that guilt play, that shaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like a very strong like immigrant like first second gen story of like your parents like leaving everything behind to give you a better life.
Did you grow up with that? Like, did your parents ever use that as like a parenting tool?
Maybe
No?
because like I was raised in the Philippines, but like
Is guilt shaming kind of thing very present?
I think in some families, yes.
Okay.
It's like, especially it's like, if they're like, oh, we came from poverty, we work like 3 jobs to give you guys like education.
Right.
But this one is, I think you as a second gen immigrant, do you feel like that's a bigger pressure? Like your folks left every family.
Of course.
their
Oh my
friends.
God, I still hear to this day.
Oh,
We work so hard. I mean, of course they do. They work so hard to give me this, like everything that I have. I don't know if this really connects, but when I came out, my like mom, she told me not to tell my dad that I was gay.
Oh.
I guess in a way she didn't want him to share this with the family, like extended family. And like when she said that, it was maybe the most painful part because essentially she was just saying like she was embarrassed about who I was. And like at this point I'm not ashamed of who I am, but like in some ways I want to be that dutiful daughter.
Yeah.
And not embarrass her, or like I want to save face for her. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm queer as fuck, but like still dealing with it, obviously, as you can hear. Like I don't in many ways want to return to Hong Kong because I don't want to be confronted by my relatives and answer to their questions as to why I'm not married, or I don't know if I want to reveal my sexuality, not because I'm embarrassed about who I am, but because I don't want to hurt my mom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, because I also, when I came out to I'm only out to my parents and like one cousin. And I remember when I came out, my mom told me to like, I don't need to tell it to everyone, relatives, workmates. And
why did she say that though?
To me, it felt, I'm so excited to have this weight lifted off my shoulder. And I'm like, I want to run out of the closet. But it's like, I'm being shoved back a bit to the closet, because I'll be a disgrace in the family.
Yeah.
And I think that was painful,
Mm-hmm.
but then I think I tried to just like understand it from their perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like balancing that.
It is the balancing act.
And it's like, it's not about me.
It's not about me, individualism. It is like very much embedded in our
Exactly.
culture to consider everyone. Yeah. Anyways, moving on, like in the film, the next thing that happens is Will's good friend Jay, who is Black, comes over for dinner. And the movie, I like this part because it does address the anti-Black racism that is quite prevalent in the Asian community. The mom straight up says, like, use these paper plates because it's safer. Or like, that's so disturbing.
This is so bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And then she's like, he shouldn't eat so much soy sauce. It'll make his skin darker. I was like, well, that is actually kind of accurate in like
Do you feel
in terms of like
experience that? Like heard that?
I mean, my parents never really said, but I know that the Asian community does
Like
have
prejudice.
Yes, absolutely. And I think even like as a young child, like, yeah, I naively fell for like that white beauty rhetoric. And like my mom would encourage me to drink more white milk
Right.
because she'd be
Fair
like,
skin?
it will make your skin fairer. I wanted to have fair skin. I was quite dark when I was a kid. Like, where do I get these beauty standard like expectations? It's just
It's like colonization.
yeah.
Very prevalent in the Philippines.
Yeah.
I went home and like literally the radio commercial, 5 commercial, 3 of them are like skin whitening soap. And it's crazy. Like yeah, it's sad, but it's true. Like the standard of beauty and also like intelligence, it's still like English or like white culture.
Intelligence.
Like white beauty. Yeah. Even intelligence, like if you can speak English fluently and you don't have an intense accent, like you're perceived as like,
or like if you have a British accent.
oh my god.
Oh my god. Give me a freaking break.
I can't.
Suddenly you're like, 10 IQ points higher.
But yeah, anyway, so yeah, that was like an interesting scene that they're able to like include in the story.
In the next part, it's
I love this one.
I call this the Ma's porn scene. What she does do is she goes out into the city and she rents a porno. She takes it home and watches it. I love this scene because I feel like it really shows evolution in her character.
Yeah.
In many ways, like Asian women, particularly her age, the way they're portrayed in like Hollywood films is quite static. It's like the traditional homely woman who's tied firmly to like traditional values and blah blah blah, gossips, cooks, takes care of the kids, tiger mom, so on. But here she's like an independent woman. She's, you know, like
exploring her sexuality,
which is such an interesting point. Like I've never seen that before.
Yeah. And the fact that it's like, okay, she got disowned and by, you know, like her parents, and then it feels like she's entering like a second adolescent of like exploring the world, exploring herself, her body. And it feels, yeah, it's empowering to see that.
That's why I was saying, like, I feel like her storyline, Ma's storyline, is more complex than the queer storyline between Will and Vivian.
Yeah.
So in the next scene, Will and Vivian have their first date. We find out they met as kids, and essentially they trauma bond while they shop.
Shopping, and
They're not even shopping. They're just like
like taking jeans and like unfolding them and ruining it.
The sales lady's probably like, yeah.
Yeah, they've been shopping, yeah. But they trauma bonded about, you know, how they feel the parental pressure with Vivian is a dancer, but you know her parents wants her to do ballet because
To not just do ballet, but be the principal dancer at her ballet
ballet.
company.
Yeah, exactly. But like Vivian's heart is actually in modern dancing, but like that is frowned upon because that's not the prime like graceful ballet or like, yeah, dance career.
I think Will's mom also makes a point about how like it's a very ballet. I didn't realize is actually like in line with piano and violin in the Asian culture. Like those three
Yeah.
activities that we just do, that we're
True.
expected to do, and you expected to excel in.
Yeah. What did you do?
I
Yeah.
did piano.
Oh.
Gosh. My sister did do ballet for a bit.
I think at 4 years old, my parents asked me if I want to do ballet or karate. Of course, is that even a question that I pursued? I did karate.
Cannot imagine you doing ballet.
I
Oh
cannot
my
imagine.
god. Well, you'd be surrounded.
Huh?
You'd be surrounded by all the gals.
I know, but like, I don't know if they're guys.
And then they have their dance date shortly later. Oh man, and we really see some serious, aggressive, bold flirting from Vivian.
Oh my god. Take note.
What did you think of the scene? She was telling Will to practice falling gracefully like a ballet
On the
dancer.
floor.
Will, we find out, is quite that awkward, rigid, like chapstick Les.
Yeah, like very much, and she cannot fall without like fear of hurting herself. But then Vivian was like, "It's just like this," and then she will demo it.
She's bold. It was so cute though, like their kissing scene. It's like it's so rare to see two Asian American women kissing. It was almost a surprise. Yeah, it was tastefully done.
Yeah, it is. It's not. I know like Vivian is flirty and quite like bold and aggressive, but it's not a way that it's like it's cringy, because like you can see the connection. Like it's like a slow burn kind of vibe that you know there's something between them anyway.
The sex scene too was also like there was no male gaze, like the one you would find in Blue is the Warmest Color.
God, yeah.
It was really tastefully done. And so cute when Viv's mom, her voicemail suddenly pops up and she's like, is Will still there? While they're like naked on top of each other. Yeah, that was very sweet.
That's very sweet.
So in the next scene, Ma goes on a series of dates with like these frumpy looking men. I love this scene. Again, like it shows, like I just was never exposed to older Asian women coming into their sexuality.
Yeah.
Like what? What do you mean they dated? What do you mean they kissed? Like, what is courtship with Asians?
Yeah.
Right? So it was really cool to see that. And again, Joan Chen, God, she's beautiful in all her dresses.
Blushing. You're blushing right now, by the way, while you'll talk.
She was
Yes, you're so
she was
right.
42 years old in that when she filmed it.
So
42 is
within
not
your range.
Shut up. All right.
Okay, the next scene is the next one is so funny.
So dinner with the family. She Will brings Vivian over for dinner with Ma. Oh God, like the tension. You could feel it.
You could feel it. And it's like the acting was also so funny. Like Will is just like shaking and like trying to like get big scoop like
Of rice.
of rice in her mouth because of like the questions and like
Have you ever brought a girlfriend over for dinner without your parents knowing that they're your girlfriend?
I think one time I was out during this time anyway, but like I brought someone that I kind of dating, not like a girlfriend yet, but yeah. And then my mom is there, and I don't know, it's just awkward because it's like not being spoken. Like, who is this girl in our house? And I'm like, yeah, just a friend who.
Did she suspect it? Do you think?
I think she did. Yeah, yeah.
I think my moms know. Like every time I talked about a girl, even if it's just like a friend, she would be like, does she have a boyfriend? Like that's almost like the first question. I'm
Really?
like, but like why? Why do you need to know she has a boyfriend? This is not relevant. Like,
check.
are you worried
Yeah.
that I'm into her?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't in Tagalog, do you guys have like female male pronouns?
We don't.
Okay,
Yeah. So it's easier for us to like.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like us too. So
Oh,
I
in
would
Canto, there's no male female.
you would just say like koi, meaning them.
Okay, yeah, it's the same in the Philippines.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
At Radiolab, we love nothing more than nerding out about science, neuroscience, chemistry.
But we do also like to get into other kinds of stories. Stories about policing or
Politics,
country music,
hockey,
sex, of bugs.
Regardless of whether we're looking at science or not science, we bring a rigorous curiosity to get you the answers.
And hopefully make you see the world anew.
Radiolab, adventures on the edge of what we think we know.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
You come to the New Yorker Radio Hour for conversations that go deeper with people you really want to hear from, whether it's Bruce Springsteen or Questlove or Olivia Rodrigo, Liz Cheney, or the godfather of artificial intelligence, Jeffrey Hinton, or some of my extraordinarily well-informed colleagues at the New Yorker. So join us every week on the New Yorker Radio Hour, wherever you listen to podcasts.
So I would, switch from English to Chinese whenever I talked about like when I had to use pronouns.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was such a So like it really made me realize like how I had to overthink everything I said.
Yeah.
I was very careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, and then Viv finally reveals that she has an offer in France to dance, and this is where like the conflict comes up.
Yeah.
Right? So long distance or break up. And then we also find out that Viv's father is Will's boss. Like how complicated does this have to be?
The head doctor in the hospital that Will is working is Viv's father. And so it was tough because it's like now it's also a choice of like career or like your love. And I think the scene was like the father of Vivian kind of like telling Will that's like this is Vivian's basically like big break. Like you have to basically let her go because Vivian wants to stay for Will and like kind of like doubting going because like they love each other. So it's tough because like how do you let someone you love go for them to reach their ambition or career? But also is that also their ambition or is just
what
like
would you
the
do
pressure?
if your boss was your girlfriend's father. And yeah, and the girlfriend's father was like, leave her alone.
It's really tough. I'll find another job. It depends, yeah. No, I think I'll choose the girlfriend.
You're a romantic.
I know I am. How about you? Would you?
I think there's so many factors, but I don't know.
It's like there's gonna be other jobs. If you love that
That's true.
person.
That's true. Exactly.
Like it's harder. I don't know. Now I'm in this.
Is it harder
It's harder. It's harder to date or find a job. I don't know. In this
They're both
economy,
difficult.
Probably hard. Similarly hard.
Okay, so the next scene is quite serious. Say, Will finally comes out to her mom. Oh man, like in some ways I could connect to this because of the way she came out. Will's mom is sitting there watching TV. Will sits next to her. They don't face each other.
Yeah, they're just like this
is how I came out to my mom as well.
Really?
Yeah.
No eye
like we
contact?
no eye contact. My mom was like on her computer. And I was facing the other way, watching TV.
Yeah.
And we spoke like that. It was just like we were beside each other, but facing different directions. And that was like the most comfortable way I could. I cannot imagine sitting face to face with her and talking about it, like with nothing in front of me to distract, or you know what I mean, or to fiddle with, or it was just, yeah. How about you? How
I
did you
think I
relate
came out to my mom. Also, she's also on my side, but it's like we're kind of like twisted and facing each other, kind of, you know?
Okay.
It's hard, but I think they portrayed it in a way that's actually, I think, like
quite realistic.
Yeah, realistic.
Some of the things that she said, though, man, that really hit me. Like
what was
the
it?
script was
so hard.
So she said, Will says, I love you and I'm gay. And the mom's like, how can you say those two things at once? How can you throw that in my face? Oh, that hurt. Like, and it's interesting. She said face, having two meanings there.
Yeah.
Essentially saving face and, you know, throwing it in my face directly.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not a bad mother. My daughter is not gay. That is straight up denial there. So painful to listen to. And then she's like, maybe I shouldn't be your daughter. That hurts.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a very powerful, like one of the most powerful scene there. And it's just like Will getting the courage to finally say it despite, you know, all this fear of like Will saw her mom getting disowned for something that happened, like, you know, the pregnancy. But she still come to terms of coming out and getting that courage. But denial is the first thing that came out of her mom. Would you say, like, is it parallel to like your experience? Was there some level of denial?
Oh, absolutely. There's denial. Like, so interestingly enough, when I said it, she was kind of like, okay. She just straight up said, okay. And then, and she's like, I had a feeling.
Oh.
And so I took this, I was like, oh, so there was no like melodramatic conflict. There was no screaming match. There was none of that, which is similar to Saving Face.
Yeah.
But what happened instead was just denial afterwards. The next day, she was just like, you know, are you sure? Or, you know, there are men out there, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, your relative here, she used to be bi, but now she's not.
Face. No,
yeah, it's a
not
face, things like that. I was very, very deliberate about not saying that I'm bi because I did not want her in any way to be like, to give her hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, despite Storm saying that I'm 82% gay. Anyways, yeah, so the denial continues to today. Right.
Yeah, even for me, I think it's also that it's like a quiet coming out. There's no I thought of the worst of like, the getting
Kicking me out.
kicking
Yes.
you out.
Yes.
But it's not that. It's mostly like a conversation. My mom cried and I cried. But yeah, I came out and we never talk about my sexuality ever after that. The next scene is the breakup scene where I think during this time Will is avoiding Vivian because like about the dad, the Fran's opportunity for ballet, and then also just like how it went coming out to her mom. So there's so much going on. And I remember during this time Will's grandma also got sick, so all that personal struggles, I think that's why she just like
Accumulated into her decision to
break up
Mhm.
with Vivian, which I think, yeah, if you're in that position, I think that's something. I mean, for me, I'll do that too, because like it's just so messy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so they broke up. Vivian was definitely, I think, like she's hurt because I think she's ready to like fight for this. Because like again, between the two of them, she's the one that's like, I'd say bolder and like more
Open to her
open. Yeah,
sexuality.
open to her sexuality. So yeah.
And then we move on to the marriage scene where Joan Chen, or Ma, gets
Cam's crush. Your crush.
she gets married, to my dismay.
About to get married.
No, about to get married. So Will finds a note at home that maybe has her suspecting that Ma actually has somebody else that she is in love with.
Yeah.
And so she interrupts the wedding in all dramatic fashion, right? And here she stands up for her mom, and she announces to everyone that, her mom, Ma, you need to tell everyone who you are truly in love with.
Yeah.
She mistakenly points out the wrong man, though, which is just like
Funny,
hilarious.
comedy. Yeah.
And we find out it's actually a young man,
Yeah. Like kind of like.
Will's age, essentially.
Yeah.
He
Younger.
stands up and he's like, no, I am the one
Yeah.
that,
The father of the kid, the baby.
yeah. I love that.
That scene is so powerful because the grandpa was there, the mom is in the middle, Will was like standing out in the crowd and basically saying, you have to like fight for, like the person you love and like choose the one that you love. And then grandpa is like, what is she talking? Like, don't, like that fear again of like being like
dishonored.
The honor, yeah, dishonored.
He's probably having his own like mini heart attack. Like, how embarrassing
Yeah,
would that
like,
be
it's the
for
crowd,
him?
like so many people,
All the family.
But I think what I love about that scene is that you can just see there's a lot of like generational like struggle and trauma that Will, as the youngest one, is trying to break. Like that pattern of like just following what your parents want
Right.
because of like honor and
Right.
like reputation.
This is the point where it breaks.
This is it. And it's powerful because I don't know, that scene too, like you can tell that the mom kind of like regained her power. Like she just brightened up, and I know after that scene she just like run with Will
She ran
outside.
out and is like almost like an adolescent in a way.
Yeah.
She
Felt liberated.
despite, her father being like, you've thrown away a lifetime of face. Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
She's like, F that. And she runs off to the public bus.
On a wedding gown, but
Yes.
it's funny
I
too
love that
because
scene.
like the crowd started. There are couples, like older couples in the crowd, and they're
in the
like,
wedding
in
party.
the wedding, and they were like, "Oh, we should have gotten divorced." Like they started talking shit to each other.
They start to be open too.
Yeah, exactly.
And uncovering all the dirty laundry that probably needed to be aired out for years.
Yeah, and I think that's powerful too in a way that sometimes like Will came out and then she kind of like empowered her mom to actually choose the person that she loves. It's like when you liberate yourself, you're actually allowing
Encouraging
other people
others
to
do the
liberate
same.
themselves and speak their truth. And I think that's why I love that wedding scene. Yeah, it just opens up so much and empowers people to speak up in a culture like the Asian culture. I would say it's like hush hush.
Yeah.
It's like if there's problem, just hush hush, avoid it. You know, that's like pretty common to us. So I love that scene. And yeah, Will and her mom run out on like her mom waiting in a wedding gown, go to a bus because they gonna catch Vivian's flight.
Yes. So we find the two of them, Viv and Will, at the airport. Viv is about to board, and I don't know how I feel about this scene. Viv essentially challenges Will. I say challenge.
Yeah, it's like prove it.
She challenges Will to kiss her in front of everyone. Essentially, as her last chance that she's giving Will before she leaves for Paris. And I found this to be a bit of a bitch move.
It kind of is a bitch move. Like, cause also like Will was like, "I love you." Like Will like shouted that.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like she can't do the action. Which again, it shows how they're different in terms of like what stage of coming out and acceptance they are probably, or like their level of comfort with their sexuality.
I can relate to Will in many ways. Like I PDA is difficult for me.
Oh.
Yeah. It's something that I'm trying to work through. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if somebody was to force me, to challenge me, to push me on to like basically get over it, like, I don't know. I find that to be very uncomfortable and disrespectful in some ways.
Yeah. And then after that, so Vivian, like, you know, entered her flight and just like fly. Will came out and like her mom was waiting for her. And then her mom just like gave her a big hug while Will is crying, like sobbing real hard. And I don't know, like it's just a beautiful scene because you can see the healing. And, you know, during the time when the mom is still, you know, like trying to date around, trying to like save face, it seems like Will is parenting her parent. Her mom is really on a bit of depression, not going out with friends. But like here it's like now like the parent become the parent and
she regains that position and she comforts her. She understands, like she's accepting that she has a broken heart and it's because she's in love and it's in love with a woman and she's okay with it in some ways.
So that's a very, I mean, heartbreaking for Will, but like for their like the mom-daughter dynamic, it's such a healing one.
So 3 months later, they go back to Planet China. This is a full circle. And it's interesting if you notice in the beginning of the film, when they're in Planet China, the men and women are separated in their own groups. But this end scene, they're all integrated. It's and then we also see Will and Viv dancing together openly.
Yeah. It's like a repeat of the first scene, but in this time, it's like Will found like a courage to like, you know, approach Vivian and like do something that she really wants amongst like surrounded by these people and
that she previously was terrified to come out
to come out to because of all the gossip, all the whatever, all the judgment. But it still exists.
It still exists.
Yeah, they were dancing, but it's like the, you know, like the aunties are still gossiping.
There were still families that were static and like in that stage. But like you also see it being interspersed by people who have changed and transitioned and have like a different point of view, which is the mother who was like encouraging Will and Vivian to dance together, which is so sweet. It makes me want to cry. Like she gave her the thumbs up.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so sweet. And then she goes and like dances with her like 20-something-year-old boyfriend. I love that.
I love that because it's like nothing, like the people around, nothing changed for them. They're still gonna gossip, but like the main characters, now they're happier and now they're free.
Yes, they're liberated from
yeah.
I love that. What a beautiful movie. Honestly, like the more I watch it, the more I appreciate it. 88%?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty
88.
high.
Do they purposely do 88 for like the Asian luck?
Did they? Is that
There's
a thing? As you were saying, the more like this is the second time you watch it or third time? How many times?
So the first time I watched it, I didn't really watch it in its entirety. I watched the good bits, if you know what I'm saying.
Sorry. Wow.
And so like I never watched the mom scenes. I didn't know what it was about.
Thank you for your honesty.
And like the next time I saw it, I actually paid attention to the mother's storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think I like it more.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It's a good story. Yeah.
Watch Saving Face, guys. It's
highly recommended.
How many stars do you give it? Out of 5. Yeah.
5.
Really?
Yeah. Well, 5-star girl.
I do think my rating has improved after talking about it.
I love it.
Alice Wu, she deserves an Oscar.
Honestly. Yeah.
For pushing this forward. And being like one of the first to do so.
Yeah.
She needs to create another one. I was really diving deep into the internet for some Asian American films featuring queer women. There were none. I could not find any aside from Half of It. Half of It.
Mm-hmm.
And Saving Face.
The Handmaiden.
And The Handmaiden.
Yeah.
That's it. I couldn't find any more. Please give us some recommendations if you know of any.
Queer Asian films.
Yeah. So for those who want to check out this amazing film, where can we stream this movie, Clarice?
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. It's also available on Google Play Movies and TV and also Amazon Prime Video. So yeah, we really recommend that you give it a watch, and so it's easier to follow this episode.
So let us know what you think of this movie. Give us some recommendations for other films to talk about. And I think that wraps up our episode, Clarice.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. And as always, if you like this episode, please give us a rating on Spotify. That's the only way we can grow. You can find us at Chopstick Lesbians in Spotify. And also in our Instagram, our handle is chopstick.lesbians.
All right. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. 2 guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're 2 dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.